Today's video is sponsored by boot.dev. Hey guys, Jay here. Welcome to Models Memories Weekly, episode 144. Models Memories is a show about nothing and is filmed in front of a live studio audience. This is a show where I talk about my painting, modeling, and working experiences from the week. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Jay, you put out 3 videos a week. How? Could I possibly have more to say? Well, I do, and here goes. This week, it was shown off that there is a new cheap Space Marine toy coming out. It's actually pretty darn cool. Games Workshop came out with one of the weirdest models they have in a while. And the new Kill Team is coming to pre-order tomorrow, and it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But first, have you always wanted to develop a game, but you feel like you lack the skills to do it? Have you tried traditional learning methods, but felt like you were slogging through lines and lines of code with no end in sight? Or are you just looking to brush up on your programming knowledge with lessons in back-end development? Well, then boot.dev is the solution for you. They're gamers like you, and they have developed a system that takes advantage of it. As you progress through lessons, you'll earn XP, level ups, achievements, and quest completions to put you on a global leaderboard. The lessons are tuned to a fine balance between theory and practical applications. You'll compete with others as you write tons of code, because after all, the only way to really learn is to get coding and finish projects. And if you're ever feeling stuck, you'll know that there's a large community on Discord and around the internet that is there to help you and be with you on your RPG coding journey. The possibilities for developing your coding knowledge are endless. Programming is a skill in need now more than ever. People with knowledge in coding have an amazing earning potential up to $100,000 for back-end developers according to Stack Overflow. Programming jobs often have the option to work remotely, at least part-time. So click on the link in the description box and use the code EonsOfBattle to save 25% off your first payment to boot.dev. That's 25% off your first month or first year depending on which subscription you choose. McFarlane makes all of the cheap Warhammer toys. The Intercessor Space Marines they're okay. The Sisters of Battle was actually surprisingly really good. And the Orc and Tyranid, they were fine. The Tyranid one was weird. They kind of reimagined what a Gene Stealer looks like, and it's kind of weird how like chunky and buff they made the Gene Stealers, but they've shown off that coming in 2024 is a Terminator, an Ultramarines Terminator, and it looks really good. The Terminator armor translates really well to an action figure. You'd think that the Intercessor would also translate really well to an action figure, and it sort of does, but to get the articulation, it looks really weak in the knees. Like there's just nothing there. I painted one as a Lamenter's Space Marine, the saddest of the Space Marine chapters, and it's okay. They're definitely cheap. They're a little bit rubbery. The paint doesn't want to stick to it super well, and it's hard to really complain for like $20. The McFarlane models are like $20, and I wonder how much the Terminator is going to cost, because Terminators are about twice as big as the regular Space Marines, and it looks like it comes with stuff. Like it comes with a stand, and it comes with it calls itself an art card, and I feel like action figures come with stuff when they have to charge more for them, and there's not a great reason. A lot of Star Wars action figures started to come with a bunch of junk so that they could charge like $10 to $15 an action figure, when really they should probably be around like $7 or $8 like a G.I. Joe or like a normal action figure, but because of the Star Wars license, they have to charge a bunch more, and so they're like, well, we gotta make it look like there's a lot of value here. Ooh, although I remember in like 2008, there was a really cool set of Cantina Star Wars action figures where you got all of the different little weird guys from the Mos Eisley Cantina, and they each came with like little bits of the cantina, like bar stools and part of the bar. That was really cool, although I only ever found 2 of them. And so I had to play over and over, and the one guy got shot off of that bar stool a lot when I was a little kid, because that's all I had of the Cantina set. But I made it work with like some Legos and some like, I think like a G.I. Joe boat turned upside down. It was fine. But McFarlane 40K action figures, the Terminator does look really solid. I might pull the trigger on the Terminator. The JoyToy action figures look so good, and they're very expensive, which is part of why they look really good. They're well made, they're well painted, and a friend of mine got the little Iron Father Pharaoh's action figure and he showed it to me, and it's really cool. The Morven Val that they just showed off, because apparently they're just going to do every single Warhammer 40K character, and I am completely okay with that. The High Marshal Helbrecht. Like, I shouldn't buy an action figure. I don't really have like display toys in my collection. I like gaming miniatures, but it's hard not to pull the trigger. They look really, really good. The Morvenval is absolutely sick. I love a good mech suit. I actually really like the Matrix 3 and the gigantic robot suits. And the Morvenval, I mean, she looks great. And then she's got this big gothic mecha armor and the spear and the bolter that actually has a usable looking shield that she could use to like shield herself from combat. It looks so cool. The JoyToy stuff is incredible. It's really, really, really nice. But the McFarlane stuff is cheap and affordable. So, a little gigantic Black Templar Terminator would look really, really good. I do have one not gaming piece. This guy right here, my Space Marine bust. I love this guy so much. It was so weird to paint something I painted over and over and over and over and over again in a much bigger scale, and all of a sudden it was super easy to pull off all of the freehanding and do all the scratching. I painted this guy up for a video, and it's actually been kind of nice. He doesn't show up often, but I do every now and then when I see him on the shelf. I just take a pause and I really look at him, and a big old Black Templar Terminator sitting next to him would look pretty darn sweet. It was also kind of fun because I kind of cheat with my Black Templar, and I mix in a little bit of Lamy and Medium to make them bluer so that they have a little bit more color and a little bit more interest going on, because they're so tiny, and just painting black tiny Space Marines looks kind of bad. But on a big old model like this, I could kind of get away with black. I mean, I did a lot of highlighting, but that armor is actually a fair bit darker than the actual armor for my Black Templar Space Marines. So I'm kind of excited for the Terminator, and I'm very excited to see how much they want for it. I would bet $30, especially if they're throwing in that standee and that art card, but we'll see. But speaking of things where we'll see, the Fang of Nulamia, the weirdest model that Games Workshop has made in a while. I like vampires, and it seems like Games Workshop really likes vampires too, because literally half of the Soul Blot Bleep Blop, the Soul Blight Gravelord army, is just vampire characters, and boy, is she a character. This is a weird miniature. The emaciated vampire lord with armor that's like tarnished and weathered, and a gigantic snake on an oval base because they just needed the room. I really, really dig this model. And I dig the weird, I feel like vampires are something that I can collect without needing an army. They would be very usable in game because pretty much all fantasy games have a faction of mages or magicians or vampires that they would slot really nicely into. But this model, I don't know if I love the Heavy Metal Team paint job. I feel like the gold makes sense because she's very Egyptian, but I think other colors would look really, really good. And I think my colors would look really good because one of my favorite models in my collection is this little vampire lord. This was the birthday model from Games Workshop for, I think it was 2 years ago this model came out. And I just got her on a whim because I just happened to be at the game store. And I really, really had a fun time painting her up. Some of you might recognize the colors that I used on this gal. It is actually from the Yu-Gi-Oh card, Vampire Lady, a fan favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card. Teal skin, red and magenta clothing, a big gold sword. I really, really like how this model turned out, and I like the base with the little brickwork, and the base is really dull and ugly, and she is really glowing vibrantly with incredibly saturated colors. And so these colors on this new Egyptian vampire lord is something I really, really want to do. I do want to kind of collect all of Games Workshop's little vampires and paint them up like this. I think it would look really, really cool in a little display case. It's just, I don't often get the urge to just paint models for the fun of it or for the interest of having it, but this weird and wacky color scheme is not really something that I can just get. I can't just Google vampires that have highlighter skin and see it. I have to make it for myself. And this model, I am itching to paint this model and the giant snake. I think I would probably just paint the snake like Games Workshop painted the snake, just snaky colors. Nothing too exciting and fancy. I think I want her to be the exciting and fancy thing going on. It's so weird. I also love the idea because vampires are impossibly powerful and strong. So it doesn't matter that she's this little wispy thing. Like, she can take care of business. She can wipe out a whole room of bad guys, or I guess good guys, because she's a vampire. She's bad. It makes me think of Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. If anybody saw that movie, it's a really fun movie. Especially if you haven't seen it, just go on YouTube and watch the ending scene where old Honest Abe is fighting vampires on top of a moving train, and it's kind of the greatest thing of all time. Just for the memes, it is absolutely phenomenal. His axe is also a shotgun. I mean, need I say more? I've just sold it perfectly. But I love the idea of vampires are just impossible superhumans, but are also like sickly and pale and weird and monstrous. And that is this model. It is bizarre. I've seen this get shared all over my Necron groups on Facebook where people are like, could this be a Praetorian something? Can I turn this model into a Catan shard? And I've also seen it shared a little bit in my Genestealer cult groups, because the Genestealer cult groups are they've kind of taken over the orcs job of every single new Warhammer kit is a secret orc kit. It does feel like every new kit is a secret Genestealer cult kit. A vampire, like a Egyptian themed Genestealer cult army would be pretty sick. And just speaking of vampires that I want to collect, the classic Vampire Lord from Games Workshop is a much maligned miniature. Everybody says that this model looks super dumb, and I completely disagree. I think that this is a fantastic model that the Heavy Metal team really, really let down in their paint job, because it's got Miss Frizzle orange hair, and that termination line between where her scalp ends and the hair starts looks really silly in like deep pumpkin orange. And then the bats are like Halloween store bats. I could definitely want a crack at painting this model to try to make it look a little bit more scary, because vampires are scary and her armor looks fantastic. It also doesn't help that she's kind of on a rock surfboard. Probably take her off that rock surfboard and she would look way more imposing in violence. But really, the thing that makes me really, really want to collect all of the vampires is Liqerise, Mother of Nightmares. Also kind of a controversial miniature. This model is perfection. It's a weird, dark, eldritch horror of a model. Some people don't like the weird centaurness of it, but I could totally see this thing in like Bloodborne. This thing looks so creepy and so weird. And how good would it look in magenta and teal? It just gets me excited. It's the weirdest thing, and I like a little weirdness. I like just a horrible abomination. And Games Workshop has already done a bunch of the work for me, having her standing on top of a piece of a crumbling, like, Gothic architecture. Like, it'd be so easy to throw my bricks under there and just have her look incredible. Games Workshop has just been giving me what I want. Orcs, vampires. Although one thing that Games Workshop has not been giving me that I want is Kill Team. It feels like it's been a hot minute since we got any real Kill Team action, and the new Kill Team box is coming to pre-order tomorrow. And what I really like is that they split it up so you can actually just buy the teams and the rules, or you can buy the terrain, which is great. They kind of should have done this a long time ago, because now I've been buying every single new Kill Team box and I have so much terrain, an obscene amount of terrain. And we make terrain here at EonsOfBattle, so I haven't actually been building any of my Games Workshop terrain. I've been building our terrain, so I don't need more terrain. Although I don't know if I need these new kill teams. And it's probably also, part of it is I'm not super excited about these new teams, and part of it is I literally have like 30 kill teams. I have so many kill teams that I can't possibly play them all, and I loan some out, and Sean plays with my kill teams, and Nick has played with some of my kill teams, so they get to see tabletop time, but I don't know if I need more kill teams. And these kill teams, the scouts are cool. I think the scouts make a wonderful kill team. Scouts are already in kill team out of the original kill team compendium, and they just make a great kill team. 10 big, like roided up muscle bodies, and you get shotguns, you get bolters, you get chainswords, you get the sniper rifle, the heavy bolter, the grappling hook, the missile launcher. Like all of those things make for wonderful operatives, because the cool thing about Kill Team is the different operatives. You got your plasma gunner. Most kill teams have a knife guy who just runs around and he stabs real good, and he gets to do some stealth shenanigans. The Space Marine half of this Kill Team box makes perfect sense to me. The Eldar half is weird. I like striking scorpions as much as the next person, but they're just 10 guys with chainswords and shuriken catapults, or shuriken pistols, with no options. I mean, the sergeant has the scorpion claw, which is kind of like a power claw. So there's one little different operative there, but it's just weird that it's seemingly no upgrade sprue. Usually whenever Games Workshop takes a normal kit and turns it into a Kill Team kit, they add an extra sprue to give you the little knife guy, or the guy with the bappin stick, or one special cool gun. Or if you play Tau, all of the special cool guns and every single person is like a sniper operative. It'll be interesting to see what kind of rules they have. In 10th edition, the Striking Scorpions lost the Mandiblasters. The Mandiblasters is one of my favorite things because it's so fun to say, Mandiblaster, but it's their weird looking helmet with the like stormtrooper cheeks. And those stormtrooper cheeks are actually guns. They're little flechette cannons that fire darts into their opponent, and then those darts turn super hot into plasma and they melt you. It's an incredibly creative gun that the Games Workshop team came up with. Now it just gives you devastating wounds on vehicles and monsters, which is an interesting rule. That's a really nice feature to have on a unit like this, but it is kind of sad that it's not another gun that they actually have. They got their Mandiblaster, they got shuriken catapults, bleh, whatever. I guess shuriken catapults with devastating wounds, is that even anything? Like, sure, you're skipping from the to hit stage all the way to wounds, but then they're just rolling their normal saves on those wounds, which probably, if it's a monster or a vehicle, it's probably going to be a 3-up or a 2-up, so all those shots are going to miss. I don't know if they're a super hot unit in 40k, and I just don't know how they're going to turn them into a good kill team. There aren't really kill teams like this anymore. In the Compendium, there were a couple of kill teams that were mostly just the same one guy over and over and over again. Necrons were kind of like that. The Tyranids were kind of like that, kind of still are like that, because somehow there is no bespoke Tyranid kill team yet in Kill Team. I would have assumed that it was coming with this box, but no. At some point, I've got a kill team that I bought, and it's all old Hammer models, like the old pewter Tyranids, and I was kind of holding off on putting them together because I figured Games Workshop was finally going to make a bespoke Tyranid kill team, and I would have preferred to play that one than the one out of the Compendium. But now I feel like I might as well just put that one together because they didn't do it this time. It's probably coming in the next Kill Team box, and as soon as I finish those Tyranids, it'll happen, but maybe that's worth it. Maybe if I get those models painted up and I play with them one time, the next day Games Workshop will show off a cool bespoke Tyranid kill team, and it'll be awesome. And hopefully it won't just be Gene Stealers. Please, Games Workshop, don't just have it be 10 Gene Stealers as a kill team. That would be so lame. That would be almost as lame as just normal striking scorpions with no upgrade sprue to give you extra unique operatives. The other reason that this box annoys me so much is I know Eldar players really want striking scorpions, and they're stuck in this box. And I'm a Space Marine player. I really want Space Marine Scouts. I need Space Marine Scouts. I have like 200 intercessors. I have so many, and I can't turn them into Crusade squads without scouts. So I need Space Marine Scouts, but I'm not going to use the tiny little M&M guys that they currently make. I want the new cool Primaris Scouts. And so I'm going to have to wait even longer to get those scouts because right now they're stuck in this Kill Team box. So it's really disappointing that Kill Team Season 3 opened with this style of a box. This is kind of a normal box from Games Workshop. It's a little bit not. Usually they have one brand new thing and one reimagined old thing. And for start of season boxes, they usually do a better job. I guess the first box, Octeris, with the Orc Commandos and the Krieg, Even though they are just kind of normal 40k units, they were so old and no one was really thinking about them that it was so cool to see them back. And then with Into the Dark, we had the Kroot Farstalker Kin Band and Imperial Navy Breachers, something that nobody had ever heard of. 2 brand new cool things for Warhammer 40k, reimagined and brought into a Kill Team box. And this box is just stuff we've been waiting for. Warhammer 40k has needed these units, and now they're stuck in a Kill Team box. Not a big fan. I'm interested to see what they come out with next for Kill Team. There are a couple of Kill Teams that I'm working on that I'm excited to play with, and Tyranids. I would really like to play with some Tyranids and Kill Team, but I don't really get to, because Games Workshop has taken their sweet time on coming out with a bespoke team. And it'll be interesting to see, because this will be the second Eldar team. Arguably, the Eldar Corsairs are technically their own thing. They're a little bit like the Eldar Exodites, the dinosaur riding Eldar. Like, they're a sub-faction within the Eldar, where they're made up of Harlequins and Dark Eldar and normal Eldar, where Striking Scorpions are just normal Eldar, but it's nice to see different themes of Kill Teams inside of one faction, and I am here for it. It doesn't have to just be Space Marines. I think there's currently like 5 bespoke Space Marine Kill Teams, and most of them are just regular, big, bulky Mark X Tacticus armor Space Marines, so it would be really cool to see some of the other factions get reimagined. I would love another Orc Kill Team. Gretchen Kill Team, a little team of like 14 Grot operatives, sniper Grots. Like, that would be something really, really cool and have a completely different play style to the Orc Commandos. The Orc Commandos are a really fun kill team because, unlike what typically happens in Kill Team, the operatives don't really work well together. They're kind of just, each operative is generically good, strong, and shooty. And so you kind of just run them around the board and just make a mess. Where most kill teams, you kind of have to be much more strategic. This operative needs to stand next to the comm specialist so he can get the +1 action point, and then he can use that action point to do his special ability, and then use his piece of equipment to get a little bit of extra movement. Like, you have to think, it's almost like a card game where you're stacking all of these buffs and benefits. The Orcs are not like that. The Orcs just are here to screw things up. So I would love to see some more kill teams, but I don't know. This kill team box, it doesn't jim my jams. It doesn't flim my flams. It doesn't butter my biscuits. But you know what always butters my biscuits? That's right, our Patreon. Over there, we have a brand new terrain set every single month, and this month we have the Plasma Pipes. A totally tubular set of terrain full of pipes, generators, and the cutest little skeleton workers you've ever seen. With magnet-ready slots, it is the perfect thing to give your games the cover saves that you need. And if you always want to be up to date on the goings-on here at Eons of Battle and be entered into our monthly giveaways, this month we're picking 3 followers to receive this month's terrain. You can follow the link in the description below to sign up to our newsletter. I am very proud of myself this week because once I saw that Terminator action figure, I went through like the entire catalog of JoyToy 40k Marines and like 40k miniatures, and I didn't buy a single action figure. I am getting ever so slightly better at self-control. But that Morven Vol is really, really cool. Not gonna get it. I'm not gonna get it. I definitely won't be showing off my Morven Vol action figure anytime on one of these episodes. I better stop while I'm ahead. Thanks for watching.